So I want to continue with my lessons on spirituality. Welcome to Spirit Friday. This is where by this time I'm done with 2 of my major sacrifices. I'm left with the last one to do early hours of the morning. I'm trying to turn the firewood. So I'm continuing from where I got to, understanding what spirituality is all about. And I believe the last question I asked is, who is a driver? What constitutes a driver? Who is a driver? Who makes a driver? A driver is not somebody who has gone to the driving school and is celebrating because they've gone to a driving school. A driver is somebody who actually knows how to drive. A driver is actually somebody who knows how to drive, who might not necessarily even ever been to a driving school, but probably gone behind the driving wheel and actually pulled up the car and drove. That makes you a driver. So you are not a driver because you've studied from the Bible school, or you've had friends, or you've even been on a computer game. You know, that does not make you a driver. A driver is when you actually been behind the steering wheel and have moved the car and covered some distance effectively without causing danger or damage to anything around you. A lot of people get into spirituality and involve themselves in certain things they have no understanding of, so therefore bring damages to themselves and to the people around them. So in order to understand spirituality, you have to ensure that you are actually doing something. And as we go ahead, I'll teach you a lot of things to do. But the spiritual process itself is not talk. It's all about experience. Experiencing something, going through something. You know, when you experience something, you have knowledge of the thing, and they say experience is what the best teacher. So spirituality is not that which happens within the boundaries of physicality. You understand? Anything that is tangible becomes a physical manifestation and not a spiritual process, because spiritual processes has no limitation. You know, it's not limited. It's not supposed to be in a particular way. It's not supposed to be in a particular dress, in a particular suit. And so therefore, when you are offering spiritual exercises and offerings through places like this, you are deemed archaic and all of that. Then you have to be on suit and tie. No, spirituality has nothing to do with physical boundaries. Whenever you talk about physical boundaries, then it means there is no spiritual presence or exercises involved. Spirituality goes beyond physical boundaries. Spirituality has no limitation to it.
If you feel that since you started giving to the altar, your life has become a mess, you stop. Don't keep on. I don't feed a lazy God.
I'm glad as I'm going through this journey, that journey, protect my house, protect me, protect my household, protect. Now we offer up our blood sacrifice. You connect our blood sacrifice to the other God. spirituality is also something you must understand, that it's not a belief system. It is not about what you believe. It's not about, oh, I think is this, oh, I believe this, oh, I was told this. No, spirituality is none of that. Spirituality is what you have experienced. It's not a belief system. It's not something like, oh, I believe it will work. No, spirituality is when something is actually working. I shared something that happened on the altar today. You know you cannot just show up at the altar and just do anything anyhow. Because things will happen, things will move. You understand? So spirituality is, how should I say it? Is that which you have seen it come to fruition. That which you've seen it activated. That which you've seen it moving. That which you've seen it happen. Is when something manifests in a dimension that it's not tangible to you. You understand? But at the same time, you are experiencing, and you cannot explain it. You cannot understand it. It's not something you want to believe, or, oh, I believe it will work. No, spirituality is something you know it works. When I pick up this stick and I try to hit you with it, do you think you feel the pain? Do you think? So it's not I'm hitting you, so believe you feel the pain. It's not about belief. It's not about belief. It's about seeing the thing work. It's about the tools, the gadgets, the equipment that you do to ensure that something works. That is spirituality. So in spirituality, you have to put your beliefs aside. Spirituality does not depend on your beliefs. It does not depend on your belief system. It does not believe, oh, whether I think it will work. It's not about that. It's not about I think it will hit. I know it's hitting. You understand? So in spiritual process, when you're pouring libation, you know it's working. You don't think, you don't believe. It goes beyond belief. It goes beyond belief. Knowing the truth is it's a matter of fact, knowing the truth is basically experiencing existence. What is truth? Truth is basically experiencing. Something is true not because somebody is telling you, because you have experienced it. Because if the person tells you, it's just a narration. It can be fictional. You understand? You don't know it. You haven't been through it. So spiritual process is you experiencing existence itself. Experiencing life. You see a tree? The tree is experiencing the altar, so the tree is burning. So now the tree can say, when I'm planted by the fire, it will burn my leaves. It's about experiencing. Whilst I sit by the altar, I'm experiencing the heat that the altar is releasing to me. Now, the heat will go on and do the things that it will do. So I'm experiencing the altar. Then it goes beyond to the processes that are beyond limitations. So spirituality is not that which is working within the frame thought of thinking, or somebody telling you, or somebody narrating to you. No, you have to go through the thing and experience the conversation. Somebody will say, but what guarantees what you are saying? How do we know what you're saying is true? How do we know this is not just another religion? That's the problem. The fact that you can count over 400 religious groups is enough evidence to prove to you that there's something wrong. Definitely. It's enough evidence to tell you that there's something definitely wrong. Now, truth is only one. Truth cannot be two. That which is cannot be two. Religion is more than two. Truth is one. Religion is more than two. In the 400s, different religious groups, plus or minus. All these religious groups, right? All of these religious groups are claiming to be the truth. Even when you disintegrate within one religious, let's take Christianity, that's what I'm very much familiar with. Even within itself, there are so many branches of it. There's so many movements of it. Judaism, there's so many movements. Islam, Hinduism, there's so many movements. So within this religious quarters are many who also rise up to say, oh, they are wrong and our way is better. I mean, all of them could be telling a lie, but not all of them can be telling the truth. So at the end of the day, when you have multiple accounts of a situation, the possibility of you getting truth in any of them is very, very slim. So therefore, all of these religious groups and entities cannot be true. So what is truth? Truth is that which nobody else can say it any other way than what it is. Nobody else can argue it any other way than what it is. So, truth cannot be broken into multiplicities. But lies are constantly being broken. You can have 100 lies, but you can never have 100 truths. It's just one. Have you ever wondered why across the African continent, regardless of where you find yourself, all the spiritual practices are almost one, are the same? Take away the language, because you know, Africa, we have so many different languages. So when you take away all these languages, all this diversity of tongues, the practices are literally the same. The practices do not vary. The practices do not change. Regardless of what tradition you find yourself in, if you need to pour libation, every single person is pouring libation. There's no matter what language, what group, what culture you find yourself, spirituality is just one, being expressed in different cultures and so many different languages. But something that is not true will be found or done differently in other religions, in other regions, sorry. So the fact that there is something that no matter where you find yourself on the face of the earth, is still practiced the same, simply tells me that there is a bit of truth in there, because no matter what it is, it's still the same thing. Unlike the other side where you are definitely, without a doubt, I mean, let's think about it. You cannot comfortably move from one Orthodox church to the other Orthodox church and feel comfortable. Because when you go in there, the practices are so wide apart. Which one of the two is actually telling the truth? When it comes to fictional statement and imaginative statement, everybody can write what they want to write. It's fictional. It's imaginative. Nobody is going to charge you for writing exactly what you wrote down. Nobody is going to say, you know what, you said this and you said that and you said so, therefore this must be done this way and that must be done that way. Nobody is going to charge you for it. Imagination is subject to the individual having that experience, imagining things. How can anybody charge me for imagining something? So you see how inaccurate your imaginations will be, totally different from my imaginations. But when you take truth, truth has nothing to do with one person's imagination or the other person's imagination. Truth is, there is one creator. Truth is not this person say my creator did this and the other person say, well, my creator did that. Which of the creators do we agree? Truth is you knowing, just looking around us. Looking around, there is life all around us. Right? All this life is attesting to the fact that there's an architect, there's somebody behind this life. So this is not about me imagining anything. I'm seeing it. It's evidence. I am not imagining stuff and conjuring stuff. As a matter of fact, how can you believe that which you do not see? That which nobody has ever seen. How do you believe that? Somebody will flip it around and say, but how do you also believe that there is a creator? I don't need to see the creator. I don't need to know the creator. I don't need to understand the creator. All I need to do, wake up to my garden and see the beautiful life, the birds singing, the sun shining, the grass blowing, the trees singing, clapping. And I know that there's life in each and every single one of us. So whoever this person that is giving life to all these things is definitely the one responsible for all these things. I don't need to know him. But when somebody creates an imaginary thing and say that, oh, I have seen, my question is, where did you see that which you call the creator? But yet every group is claiming their version, fictional imagination, is the best. So fictional narrations is something that is created that has a beginning. The truth, on the other hand, has no beginning, has no end, has always been, would always be. You don't have to think it, you don't have to create it, you don't have to forge it, you don't have to perfect it. It's always there. All you need to do about the truth is just discover it. You understand? The truth is just about discovering. It's not hidden. It's in plain sight. If you don't know it, then it might sound like a lot of work. Then you might be searching and scratching. But nobody has to. It's always been there. Tell me one person that came into existence that didn't meet the earth. Just one. Tell me one person that came into the earth that didn't see water. But how many people actually know the significance of the earth? The potency the earth carries. How many know the weight behind water, the power behind water? So it's up to us to discover. So truth is just on a journey of discovery. When you discover the truth becomes what is real to you. Because it's always there. It's always been there. When something is fictional and imaginative, it has to have a beginning, because somebody is creating it into being. Somebody is bringing it into existence. So it's got to have a beginning. You get what I'm saying? Spirituality is not geographical. It is not historical. It is not racial. It is not national. All these different identities are irrelevant when it comes to spirituality. All these race, identity, nationality, kingdom, all these things has nothing to do with spirit. It's irrelevant. It does not concern spirituality. When it comes to history, spirituality has no historic fact. There's no history with spirituality. Who started the history? Who told the history? There's no history behind spirituality. Who came and created spirituality? Who came and invented spirituality? Who came and brought spirituality into existence? Nobody. It's always been there. Do you see the difference? When something is man-made and something is carved out by man, there's a history behind it. There's a beginning of it. It tells you where it started. Even the Bible says for 6,000 years ago, right? And plus or minus. Plus or minus. Depending whether you're from the Jewish. But it doesn't matter when it comes to spirituality. Your race does not have any influence on spirituality, because race is literally man-made. We all know that. So when it comes to a spiritual process, it has nothing to do with identity. No single person can identify and say that, oh, we are the spiritual. No. Who started it? Nobody. It's life. Who started life? You see, talk about spirituality is just saying that, oh, who started life? Where were you? Who was there? Tell me the beginning of life. Tell me when life started. Anybody? When we come to the subject of science, which is always and also on the grounds of discovery, that's basically what science is. Just as truth, just as spirituality. Have you ever heard these subjects come up, or identities come up when it comes to science? Your nationality, your race, your gender, your family, the history behind your family, the history. Science has no attachment to identities. Irrespective of who you are, when you begin the process of discovering, it's science. You understand? So spirituality is the science of the dimensions. Science is in the physical, intellectual realms. Spirituality is the intangible realms, the realms of intelligence. These two does not associate with kingdoms or race or history or language or none of that. It has no limitation to it. It has no boundary. Anybody at all can come in and study science. The same way when it comes to spirituality, anybody else at all can just come in and study spirituality and discover life and discover truth and experience life and be in the process of going beyond the limitation and experience that which is flowing from the dimensions. Every time the sun shows up, it's just showing up only for a particular kingdom. It's just showing up only for a particular country or nation or particular race. Though technically some may argue and say, well, the sun is showing up. You know what I'm saying? The sun is not saying, what is the history of the sun? Can anybody tell me? What's the history of the sun? So every time the sun show up, though we all know it's an energy that is burning. The sun is burning. It's being fueled by something. The sun is, irrespective of who you are, is shining. It's not limiting itself to a particular group of people or a particular kind of people. It's shining. Who the cap fits, let them wear it. If you feel you can absorb the releases and the energies and the healings that the sun pours out, absorb it, enjoy it. The sun is not racist. Technically, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, the sun is not national. The sun has no nationality, has no identity. The sun is just constantly just being the sun. Whatever you are breathing in, the trees are breathing out. Whatever the trees are breathing out, you are breathing in. What nationality is the tree? What race is this tree? What identity is the tree? What kingdom does the tree come from? But everybody experiences breath. Can anybody tell me, oh, because I am of this nationality, the kind of air that I experience is different? No. When you are around enough trees, you breathe good air. When you create that atmosphere, you would enjoy the air that comes around you. It's not waiting on any identity before the air expresses itself. So you cannot say, oh, because I'm this, or I belong to this set, or I belong to this organization, or I belong to that, I am the most spiritual of all. It's never. Can you say, I breathe well because I am this particular religious sect? It's still breath. It's happening everywhere. Let's take the temperature of the altar, the fire that is breathing out of the altar. Do you think the fire care about race? When you measure the temperature of the fire right now, and you take it anywhere else in the world, set the same fire, the same ingredient, measure the temperature, would the fire say, well, I'm in a different land, so my temperature will change? Let's take the boiling point of water. 100 degrees, right? Is the water going to change its boiling point just because it has changed its environment? Why? What is the identity of water? We all drink water. What is the identity? Every single one of us have water in us. What is the identity of the water that is in you? What is the race? What is the history of the water? What is the substance that I've been before all else? That's what science is discovering, right? So tell me, what is the history of water? So all these intellectual values, and this is it, and this is that, and that is that, and this is the way, and this is the only way. This is the only that, and this is the only has. You see, when you begin to experience life, and when you begin to experience the now and experience everything that is happening in the now, you will not need any schoolmaster to tell you what is right and what is wrong in your own perspective. Not even in the perspective of a congregation or a group or community or family like we have it. On your own, you'll be able to tell what is good and what is wrong, what is right for you and what is not right, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. You'll be able, because you are experiencing it. I see that a tree is dying. If I'm actually experiencing the tree, I would know that something has to be done about this. I don't need somebody else to come from outside to tell me, yo, you know what, your tree is dying. When you're experiencing the energy that is coming from the altar, nobody should tell you the energies are going down or the energy. When you're experiencing it, you know exactly what to do. You know when to turn up the fire. You know when to turn down the fire. You know when the fire is going a little bit beyond. You don't need a school teacher to. When you are basically experiencing your life, you will know that the life you are living is living into a good place, leading into a good place, or to a place that's not so good. But that experience will be yours. This is the spiritual process. When you don't allow any boundaries to determine your experience, but you go through the experience yourself. You enjoy the experience. You live out the experience yourself. When you begin to experience these various dimensions, nobody would have to tell you what to do. You would know what is good for you and what is bad for you. You wouldn't need any moral compass. The problem we face in our world today is that we have made human thought far more important than the reality of existence or than what is true. We have appraised human intellectuality, human's intellectuality, so up high that the standard of living is being determined by individuals' intellectual experiences. So somebody is sitting somewhere telling you whether you are living a good life or you're living a bad life. You stop, literally stop living, and you allow others to live through you. That's so sad and pathetic. Where you as an individual are not able to go through a thing and say for yourself that I went deep into this river and I experienced this and I experienced. You let somebody tell you, well, don't go here, because when experience it yourself. Come on. We've raised intellectuality so bad that when the honorees and the PhDs and people fighting over doctorates and stuff like that, people People fighting over people's experiences. Tell me, if you have to study what somebody has already studied and experienced and written down, how smart are you? So if you are being given an honor of a PhD because you've just memorized certain things and set them back, what accreditation should they give you for discovering something that nobody has ever discovered? If another human being can discover all these things, what is stopping you from discovering? Who is holding you back? In spirituality, just taking a single step, just one step, is way better than any single person that has read books and novels and lectures and moved from one community to the other community and studied all the gurus and studied all the rabbis and studied all the prophets and studied all the spiritual priests, the high priests of our community, and studied everything and come to sit down and say, well, I think I've done well. I've studied all that I need to know. Just your single step towards spirituality is a million miles ahead of somebody who have studied. Spirituality has nothing to do with intellectuality. It is not what you read. It is what you experience. It is what you can say out of your experience. Just taking the first step of thanksgiving. Just taking that step of giving thanks. And oh, thanksgiving is not what you think. I'll definitely have time to explain Thanksgiving. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope you've been blessed with the lessons from the Altar Spirit Friday. Just experience the now. And I'm telling you, you automatically becomes way spiritual than anybody who has read a million books. Just as when you are able to sit behind the steering wheel and move the car for about 100 meters, you have more experience than anybody that has sat in the classroom for years studying to drive. When we talk about spirituality, take human intellectuality out of the question. So you make the first move to experience. You are not on the journey of spirituality. So you come to a place to discover for yourself. You are not spiritual in any sense. Have a great time, guys. I love you. This is your humble servant, Kojo Bento. I'm only here to serve you. I'm only here to share with you my experiences so that you one day can also share your experiences with millions. Have a great time. Please, 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 just take a single first step of thanksgiving and you're on your way to spirituality. I'll continue with Thanksgiving.